I view this distinguished audience as a sort of gathering of religious group of people who have come here to listen to the presentations that have been given here today by a panel of very competent speakers. So I have come here fasting, except for 1 cup of coffee in the morning, to attend this quasi-religious function. Fasting is part of my way of life as a priest. So don't think that it is too hard for me. Till now I have not eaten anything for the day. Let me mention briefly what prompted me to establish this society on 17th January 1986. With the cooperation of some friends and acquaintances, it was to seek an effective means to withstand the tides of that deceptively destructive movement called secularism, into which, like flies snared by the flames of fire, people in large numbers were being drawn at that time, misled by the relentless propaganda of the media, and which reminded me of T.S. Eliot's poem, The Wasteland, which I had studied in the English honors classes and which I had the opportunity to teach in colleges in India and Canada. The human psyche has an inescapable urge to worship some power superior to it. And so when the self-gratified promoters and victims of secularism feel this urge, they adopt different make-believe gods which cater to the other tendency in man for self-aggrandizement and the illusory satisfaction got from the sensual enjoyment of the hoarding of wealth acquired either through questionable but legalized means or by the open exploitation of weaker nations, often with the use of arms. Yesterday, I read carefully the inaugural letters on 17th January 1986 given by the learned Father Barry McCrory, a graduate of Gregorian University in Rome, and at that time pastor of the Roman Catholic Church of the Holy Cross here in Ottawa. It contains gems of his deep reflection inspired by Gandhiji's interpretation of ahimsa. Let me quote here just one of those things. For him, bravery was demonstrated in dying, not killing. It's only in 4 pages, but it contains gems of his reflection about Gandhiji's interpretation of ahimsa. I myself like to compare the principle of ahimsa to an unsinkable raft, and the inspiration for this comparison came from Mark Twain's Huckleberry Finn. You know, he crosses the Mississippi River in rafts. The world is to be saved from the vicious circles of terrorism and counter-terrorism which it generates. Then we should all accept the remedy of following the path of non-violence, as interpreted for our times by Gandhiji. It is also what the Buddha had chalked out for humankind, and which Jesus Christ enhanced by laying down his life in order to promote the love of fellow human beings. And unselfish service to the needy and the oppressed. That is really a reflection of the love of God. Is it not time that the entire human race heeded the warning of Christ, he who takes the sword shall perish by the sword? I shall end this talk by quoting the threefold dedication which a Buddhist neophyte at the end of his monastic training recites in front of the abbot on being ordained as a monk. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami, Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. I take refuge in the Buddha's protection. I embrace Dharma. I take shelter in the Sangham. I view the middle one, or the embracing of Dharma, as the core of it. Dharma is not merely the Latin justitia, or justice. Justitia comes from jus, which means the law. It is It involves much more than that. Dharma involves a certain measure of action, or is justice in action, justitia agens, and is an active participation in the cosmic harmonious force and balance which keep this immense universe moving. With this, I thank all those who have in the past cooperated with me in the meetings. I find Dr. Philip Matthew there. I find, I suppose, my friends from Pembroke have arrived. Mr. Subhash Mehta and his wife. They have all participated in these meetings during the last 20 years. Within the next 5 years, I would like to see such units started in Montreal and Toronto and such places. When the secretary emailed to me whether we should have a fourth speaker, Dr. Rukmini from Montreal, I immediately replied, certainly, because we want our message to go to Montreal. So, and I also end by saying that the Gandhi Society has published one booklet, The Thorns of the Maple. This is a booklet I prepared after seeing on a nearby street near my home an ad, father of three will do desperate need of work, will do any kind of work. I reflected on that and I wrote to the society has written elaborately to government on different issues. To a former finance minister, and the correspondence between him and me took the form of this booklet. There was an order for this booklet from one of the universities in Montreal. A bookseller in Ottawa called me and asked me whether I could give a copy. I sent him a free copy. So there was one order for this booklet. It was given free by me. This booklet is also in the Library of Congress. I want to thank all of you for patiently listening to me, and I apologize again for being late.